We are moving along into the New York teams that don't actually play in New York, starting off with the Giants. And, I think it was the Patriots episode a few back where we were just like, it was going to be quick, less than 15 minutes, I think it took us. This is going to be one of those episodes because the Giants might even be worse than the Patriots in that if you play in a 16-round draft, which is kind of the standard, you have 2 players being drafted for the Giants. That's it, in half PPR. But there could be a couple other guys. We'll see here. Starts off with the quarterback, Daniel Jones. He's back, as you know. Tough year last year for Daniel Jones. Got hurt his knee, hurt his neck, hurt his back, whatever it was. I think all 3 of those maybe. We've seen one good fantasy year from Daniel Jones in 2022. His passing is not very good in his career, although he did throw 24 touchdowns as a rookie, which is pretty impressive for a rookie. But he's never thrown more than 3,200 yards. 3,205 yards is his highest total. You kind of need him to run the ball in order to be fantasy relevant, which he can. He ran for over 700 yards back in 2022, but he just had that major knee injury. He also had that neck back injury. Is he going to run it? I don't know.
That's how he gets hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of. I don't know the circumstances, but I guess he made a boo-boo over the weekend, and his coach was commenting on it, saying, thank God, made a bad pass or a bad play, and Coach Brian Daboll said, oh, I'm glad we're not in the regular season or something like that. So it's like, damn, not a huge vote of confidence for this guy.
No, this is his last year on the Giants. They have I don't even know why. Yeah, I don't even know why they gave him the 2. They should have franchised him or 1-year deal to prove it again, right? Like you were good once in your 5-year career or 4-year career up until that point. Prove it one more time. But I don't really know what the appeal of Daniel Jones is, both as a fantasy guy and a regular quarterback. If he doesn't run, if he's not going to run the ball, that's scary for both the Giants offense and fantasy. So I don't think he should really be being drafted in a 1-quarterback league. If he's good, you'll pick him up off a waiver wire, but I don't want to waste a pick on him as my backup quarterback, hoping that he runs the ball like he did in 2022. So I don't know if you have any differing. Superflex is different, but every starting quarterback should be rostered. But
there's nothing. There's nothing. I don't want to say. I've said this in a few of our team videos. They played NFL as a whole. There was quite a few quarterbacks played. So, this guy is not draftable, but something's going to happen to somebody's fantasy quarterback, and they're going to need somebody. And there sits Daniel Jones. So he's going to end up on somebody's fantasy team.
Probably. Yeah. And again, if he runs the ball, he'll be okay. And he's got some new weapons, and he's never had a receiver like we're going to talk about here soon in his career. He's had Kenny Golladay and Darius Slayton, I think, has led this team in receiving for the last 5 years. He hasn't had more than 770 yards in his career. So
did he play with Beckham 1 year or not?
I don't think so. No, Beckham's last year was 2018 with the Giants, and Daniel Jones joined them in 2019. So he just missed Beckham. Darren Waller didn't work out anyways. So we'll get to the receiving core. The running backs are one of them is a little intriguing. Devin Singletary, he's going in round 8 as RB29. Fun fact about Devin Singletary that he's led his team in rushing 5 straight years, whatever team he's been on for 5 straight years. Not many running backs can say that. Not many running backs in the NFL have led their team in rushing for five straight years. Now, he's never had more than 900 yards rushing in a season, which tells you a little bit about those rushing offenses. But Singletary, I'm intrigued here. So what they did in their preseason game I believe on Saturday was they played the entire first half. Their starters played the entire first half. Devin Singletary played in every single snap except for 4. So he was literally out there 80, 85% of the snaps. Now, Tyrone Tracy was hurt and didn't play, but you would think they would just kind of plug in Eric Gray and say, okay, you're going to take the Tracy role. No, that's not what they did. It was all Singletary. And that could be kind of telling as to what this team's going to do. He reunites with Dayball back in their Buffalo days. So I think it's a little intriguing here because it's all the way in round. We're talking about round 8, and Devin Singletary was like a top 10 running back when when they gave him the reins in Houston last year. He was a top 10 running back in fantasy over that 6-7 week stretch. So what do you think of Devin Singletary round 8 with the Giants?
I like him. I never. Here's a career number. He's got over 4,000 yards rushing. He averages for a career, which I think he's at least 5 or 6 years now, and going into his 6th year. He's averaging 4.6 yards a carry.
Yeah.
He's at 175 receptions.
Yep.
These are career, and he, as long as he stays healthy, he's going to have probably very similar stats to what he had in Houston and in Buffalo and stuff like that. So, and they may not be 1,000 yards, but they're going to be above 800, and he's going to do well in the passing game and stuff like that. I like Devin Singletary.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think he does get to 1,000 yards this year for the first time, because every other situation in his career, it was like he had stretches. He was a rookie and he looked good as a rookie, but he was sharing. And then in 2020, it was they were trying to get Zach Moss involved, and then they realized, oh no, Devin Singletary's the guy. They did that for a couple years, and then 2022. It was James Cook and Devin Singletary. And then last year, it was Damian Pierce. And then finally they said, no, Devin Singletary's the guy. So this is the year where he's going in to me as like the clear-cut number 1 guy, no questions asked. And from week 10 onwards last year, Devin Singletary was the RB9 in total points and RB15 in points per game. So he was good last year. And I look at Saquon Barkley 2022 when he played with Daniel Jones for a healthy year, had 60 catches almost. I'm not saying Devin Singletary is going to get 60 catches, but he could easily get 40, 45, So I like him here. And you look at where he's going. He's going in that range of guys where, like, we're not sure. You got Tony Pollard. Like, Tony Pollard's going to potentially be in a 50-50 split. You got Jaylen Warren, who, was going to be 50-50. Now he got hurt. Zach Moss, we're not sure what Zach Moss's role is. Nick Chubb is hurt. Javonte Williams, we don't know the role, right? Jonathan Brooks is hurt. Brian Robinson's in a 50-50. Austin Eckler, it's all these guys that are like 50-50 or hurt, essentially. So Devin Singletary, you're getting a starting running back who could get a full load here in the late 8th round, essentially. So, yeah, I really like this value.
Yeah, he's a running back and that you can't ignore based upon his draft position and his production and stuff like that. So,
yep. Yeah, agreed. By the way, he did all that as the RB top 10 running back. He only scored 4 touchdowns last year. So it's not like he had a bunch of touchdowns. He was doing it catches and yards. So Tyrone Tracy is on the team. He did get hurt. He's going to miss some time. I was a little excited about him, more for dynasty than anything, but he's a name to know just in case something does happen to Singletary if he's healthy. But he's just that. He's a name to know. So he's just outside of being drafted. I think that will drop because he's, maybe not going to be ready week 1. Maybe he will be. I don't know yet. It sounded like he died, the first report. Aircast, carted off to the hospital. Like, holy crap, his career's done. And then, he has an ankle sprain. Like, what the hell? Yeah. Usually when you hear Aircast, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, some of those sprains though can be,
for sure
6 weeks and stuff like that, and you stretch the ligaments. That's what an ankle sprain is. So
yeah, I think it was a low ankle sprain, low grade ankle sprain. So yeah, but we'll see. He's definitely a name to know. He won't be fantasy relevant, at least in the beginning of the year. So the shiny new toy that we're talking about is Malik Nabers. So he's going in round 5 ADP, 51st overall in half PPR. All you see if you follow Twitter or any type of social media, you just see highlights after highlights of Malik Nabers. It's either a highlight of Malik Nabers or Daniel Jones overthrowing or underthrowing someone. But
I found out some interesting things. Now, this was during OTAs, and I don't know if this applies now, but the Giants don't allow media to take videos and post them up, and so anything that you see is probably from the Giants team itself. So I don't know if it's true for training camp, but so when they have these spectacular catches and stuff like that, they don't show you all the junk that went on, to get that one catch. But Malik Nabers is the man. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I think he's going to be awesome. He's the second highest rookie receiver ever drafted. Marvin Harrison's number 1. Marvin Harrison's going as a fringe first rounder, a first/second round pick, the 1-2 turn. Malik Nabers, early fifth round. Like, I think Malik Nabers could have a better rookie year fantasy wise than Marvin Harrison Jr. this year. I think he can win in spite of his quarterback. Like, he can take a screen or a slant to the house, 60 yards. They said when they were having those joint practices with the Lions, he caught like 16 of 17 targets in like a simulation game. Again, it's all simulated, but I just think there's no competition really for this team. Like, the guy could get 150 plus targets. And if you get 150 targets, it's really, really hard to not be good. It really is.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I think he could be awesome this year if he stays healthy. He's special. And I'd much rather have Malik Nabers in the early 5th than Marvin Harrison in the early 2nd. Like, I think, honestly, like, even if we are saying, I might take Malik Nabers as high as like the 3-4 turn. Like, that's how high I might take him. And I would still take him over Marvin Harrison Jr. Like, Malik Nabers at the early 4th versus Marvin Harrison early 2nd. So sounds like you're kind of on board with Malik Nabers.
Yeah, I think so. A little nervous about the team is not, really good. And, he might get a lot of attention from defenses and stuff like that. But if he's truly, God's gift to wide receivers and stuff like that, as he's projected, then there'll be some fantasy production there. That's for sure.
Yeah. It is concerning. The 1, they're probably going to be a bad offense. 2, the quarterback's not great. 3, he's a rookie receiver. So there is definitely concern there for sure. He's not bust proof or anything. Here's Eli Manning's stats the year before Odell Beckham. 3,800 yards passing, 18 touchdowns, 27 interceptions.
Wow.
He gets Odell Beckham, 4,400 yards, 30 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. He literally has a 12-point swing up for touchdowns and a 13-point swing down for interception. So, an elite receiver can really put a Band-Aid over things. Now, Daniel Jones has never had anywhere close to a passing season that Eli Manning has had before Odell Beckham. Manning had at least a couple good years there, but just pointing something out there. But Wan'Dale Robinson is on the team. He'll be starting. They're starting him in 2 wide receiver sets. I like Wan'Dale Robinson. It's just we don't know what kind of passing volume he's going to get here. Now, it could go all to Nabers and Wan'Dale, and I think Wan'Dale's better with a guy like Nabers on the field because he could just work over the middle and get a lot of easy targets. So I'm actually okay with taking Wan'Dale. He's, again, barely draftable. He's round 19, which most people don't have those. So he's kind of a waiver wire guy. I think PPR, he's much better. I don't mind taking a shot on him because I do think he's talented. He's not a number 1 guy, and he was kind of trying to be forced into that role. But I think he could be like a sneaky, decent play here. Wan'Dale Robinson, that is. Anything?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's a slot receiver, so that's not bad. He's kind of one of those smaller, shifty guys, and you know, I I think didn't he get hurt his first year, and like last year was kind of a little bit of a comeback year.
Yeah, he tore his ACL in 2022. He had a big game. He had 9 catches, 13 targets, 9 catches, 100 yards, tore his ACL. Came back and played last year, basically most of the games. He had 60 catches for only 500 yards, but considering they were playing with Tommy DeVito, a terrible Daniel Jones, and Tyrod Taylor was there. So like, if you get 60 catches, if you get 20 more catches and you average like 10 yards per reception, then we're talking about a decent PPR guy, like a low end flex. So they were playing him on the outside. I think he does fit better in the slot, but they were in 2 wide receiver sets. He was out on the field. I think usually when we hear slot, we think, oh, he's only out there in 3 wide receiver sets. They were using him on when there's just 2 wide receivers out there, which is good. That's what you need. So that's kind of it. I mean, Theo Johnson, Daniel Bellinger, they're not even close to being drafted. I thought I heard that Theo Johnson. I thought I heard news about Theo Johnson, but whatever. Those guys are. If they do turn up, I like Theo Johnson for dynasty, but if they do turn up, they're waiver wire guys. Like you'll pick them up off the waiver wire. I don't think anyone's drafting these guys. So, anything else on the Giants? A little bit longer than the Patriots video, but not one of our shorter ones.
Yeah, Theo Johnson's a guy to pay attention to. He's a rookie, but he's a big guy who runs pretty good. Came out of Penn State, so
yeah.
Bellinger, before Waller was there, Bellinger was active in the passing game, but he didn't do a lot, but he's not a scrub, that's for sure.
Yeah. That's the problem with Theo Johnson is you got to learn how to block. Daniel Bellinger has been in the league for a few years. He can block and do things like that. He'll be on the field enough, but not for fantasy relevancy. So that's it. We'll be back with the other New York team that doesn't play in New York, the Jets. A little bit more interesting there. So we will catch you all in that video.